Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my special guest is Chris from YouTube channel Daily Refinement. How are you doing today, Chris?
Come on, Jeff. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for coming by and hanging out with me, man. I always appreciate hanging out with you. So tell me, what's first, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people who you are in case someone's watching, they don't know who you are. Tell people who you are and where you're from.
Sure. My name is Chris. I have been running an eBay store for about 4 years now, and I have a YouTube channel talking what I call Daily Refinement. So I appreciate, or I love talking to other sellers like yourself, Jeff. So I appreciate you stopping by. Right now, we have 11,000 items in stock, and I'm trying to scale up. So we'll see. Hopefully, I can be at least double that by next year at this time.
Wow, you've been hustling, Chris. So talk to me a little bit about how your journey is, because I have two eBay stores, my main eBay store. I'm right at 5,400 items. And my goal is I'm trying to get to 10,000 items. But bro, it's way harder than I originally thought it was going to be. Like I thought I was just going to get a couple of items, scan the barcodes, list them, and boom, it'd be there. But I'm telling you, man, just like as you're listing items, you're selling items. So it's like your items that you have listed, active listings, continuously goes down. So tell me, man, how has your journey been? And talk a little bit about how that's going for you, because I don't know a lot of resellers that have 11,000 items currently active on eBay.
It's been going great. I mean, I just got to learn, really the key for me has been just reducing the number of things that I sell, less categories. So now mainly just clothing and shoes, and occasionally something that's more fun, but most of the time trying to keep it more narrow. If I want to double, I actually have to narrow even more. If I picked like just women's or just men, I probably would be able to grow even faster, because it's easier to get efficiencies when you sell the same thing. When you have even, you know, a jacket and a pair of pants, it's a different listing process.
Okay, awesome. So, how has your sales been, Chris? Because us watching, I'm a subscriber of your channel, as you know, and I was watching your channel, and you said the other day you were doing about $45,000 a month. So, in layman terms, that's about $1,500 a day on average that you're selling, right? That's your gross sales a day.
Yes.
So talk to me, Chris. How does someone go about growing their store so they can get to the point where they have 10, 11,000 items in their eBay store, and they can get to the point where they're doing $1,500 a day in sales? I was doing the math today. I was sitting here and I was thinking, if we could get to the point where we can make $3,000 a day in gross sales, that would be like $1 million a year. I had Side Hustle Network on the other day with Chaz, and he said that just him and his wife past year in 2020, he said they did about $500,000. So, I mean, if you guys think if you want to put the work in and scale up, he has a warehouse and has a wife and employees. But if someone wanted to scale up and grow their business to get to that point, do you have any advice or recommendations that you would give somebody, Chris, to help them grow and expand their eBay business? Because you've been at this for about 4 years now, correct?
Yeah, I would say my advice is it takes longer than you think. But it's also not more difficult than it looks. It literally is just figuring out how to get more stuff done each day. At a certain point, you'll run out of time. And when you run out of time, you need to have somebody else help you. You need to think of ways to save time, ways to gain efficiency. And yeah, you don't want to grow quickly because things will break. It's better to grow slowly and adjust as you go. Because if your store was twice as big, you would have trouble finding stuff. You would have trouble sourcing things. You'd have hiccups. So you just want to literally, I would say, the way I would do it is 10 more listings a week for a couple of years. Then you'd be listing, a couple hundred items a week, and then keep going till you're listing, we're at 100 a day. So
yeah, Chris,
going at that pace.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, I feel like the problem that resellers encounter, the biggest problems they have is either they run out of capital to invest, they run out of space to store their items, or they just don't have enough hours in a day to devote to it. I mean, if you're a single mom and you got 3 kids running around the house, you can't sit there and take 2 hours or 4 hours out of your day just to list items, so having time, having space to store your items, and then having capital and resources to invest to buy the merchandise, those are going to be like the choke points, like areas where you're going to encounter, you're going to encounter difficulties, right? So those are the 3 things that I was looking at. I wanted to say hi to Bearded Veteran is in the chat. Joss is in the chat. He says, can Chris see the comments in the chat? He can now because I just put it up. So if you have questions for Chris, we don't have a lot of time with him today, drop it in the chat. So, Chris, I wanted to ask you some questions, man. What are some difficulties? Because the other day you said in your channel that like only like 5% of people actually legitimately want to grow their business and actually want to make money, and the rest of the people it like goes in one ear and out the other, right? So, if somebody is here and they want to grow or expand their business, and they're like one of the top 5 or 10% of people that actually want to make money, that actually want to grow to a business where they can get to the point where we're making, $1,000 a day or $1,500 a day in sales on eBay. What are some things that we need to do to get to that point? Because you can't just say I have 100 items or 500 items and just expect to just be there overnight. It's like a journey of you're going through over a longer period of time, right?
Well, I think that a lot of people just look at this short term. That's really the main difference. I'm hoping to do eBay for the next 10 years. I'm not looking to make some money this weekend, or nothing I'm doing right now is for a quick gain. I'm just taking my time. After watching Tech and Sports, he's made I partnered with him in making a Facebook group, and I've watched him over the last 13 years. He's made like $4 or $5 million on eBay. So and he hasn't done anything special. All he does is just continue to grow. So I know all I have to do is take care of my account, don't get suspended, keep growing, do things the right way, don't take any shortcuts, and it'll be there. But most people are looking to make some money on this weekend or this month, or they get frustrated after a week. I don't get, it would take a lot more than that to frustrate me because I'm doing it for 10 years. If this
Right,
week
right.
is,
It's
if
not
this
something
week
where
or
you're
this
where you're
month goes
driving for
bad, it
Uber
doesn't
or
matter.
Lyft to make a. Yeah, it's not something where you're doing it as a side hustle where you're saying, "Hey, I just want to make $200 or $300 this week, so I could go buy a new pair of shoes or put money for a vacation." Like you're trying to grow it as a legitimate business, right? So, so Chris,
I think, but backing up, Jeff, I think everybody treats it as a legitimate business. They just look at it short term. I mean, somebody who's selling, something in their garage, they're serious. They're not, for fun. They want to earn that extra money. So I think everyone's serious. They're just looking at it short term. That's my opinion.
well, I don't know, man. I see there's some of the people that I think there's a lot of people that say with their mouth they want certain things, but their actions don't back it up, right? If I say I want to get 10,000 items listed on eBay, but then you check back in with me 2 weeks later, 2 months later, and say, Jeff, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I've got, 50 or 100 items listed. So what I'm saying is like, you're not harnessing your energy into what it is that you say you want to do, right? Or maybe you do, and then you get caught up watching TV, or you got distracted, you were doing laundry, or you were out running around and you forgot what it is that you set out to do. We have Josh is in the chat. He says, I just quit my $300,000 a year job to continue growing my business, which is currently at $100,000 a year. Chris, this is no nonsense business, which is inspiring. Yeah, I'm a subscriber of Chris's channel. And definitely, I mean, if you put the work in, you definitely can grow it. Your job, I think Chris said the other day, I think it was yesterday, said your job is not something that's scalable. There's only one of you. There's only so many hours in a day. You can't like duplicate yourself, right? There's only one of you that you have, right? And Adebayo was in the chat. He says, do you price your items below your competitors? And Lone Star Picker is here. He says, hello, everybody. Keep growing eBay addicts. Hey, thank you for stopping by, Lone Star Picker. I appreciate you.
I definitely don't price my items below my competitors. I'm probably just at market. Just relying on having a big store in order to sell items. So I don't have to play the price game. I don't research my competition on my items currently because I'm in the under $30 category, which I feel like is more competitive if something that has high competition or more expensive items. It's more necessary. But I'm literally under $30, so it's not a super expensive type item. And then as far as Josh quitting his $300,000 a year job, I would never do that. If I could, most people I do not recommend being a reseller. Maybe for a little extra money or something on the side. It's much faster to just invest money from a regular job. I mean, if I had a 300K a year job, you could guarantee retire in under 10 years. When you resell, you don't know though. So it depends on your risk tolerance. If you're trying to, I would say that with a family and kids or normal people, there's no reason to risk that to be an entrepreneur because it's glorified. Like people think that being an entrepreneur is awesome, but you got to work you work in 7 days a week. Most entrepreneurs are divorced. Most entrepreneurs are fat. I mean, you're giving up your health and your family. So I would not recommend it for most people. I would say make an extra 2 to 5 grand a month on the side, keep your day job, be frugal, invest your money so that one day you don't have to work. And I think entrepreneurship is so popular. People don't really get it. It's like a huge sacrifice. It's not, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I'm doing it long term. So if you're going to do it on a short term, I think all the people that you're talking about that are just doing it on the side, that's, in my opinion, the way that most people should do it. I don't think they should go balls to the wall and risk their families and their sanity and work 24/7. It's not for everybody.
Well, I mean, $300,000 a year—that's a lot of money. And to me, I would have been like, man, eBay's not going to go anywhere. You can still do that on the side on nights and weekends and holidays or part time and still make really good money. But to go from $300,000 a year to $100,000 a year, you also have to factor in your cost of goods out of that 100,000, and you have to factor in your shipping costs, your overhead expenses, and you want to factor in all the fees and stuff that are taken out of that. If you're bringing home $300,000 a year job, most people, I would say, let's say probably 50% of the people in the country, they make less than $30,000 a year. Like 51% or something makes less than like $35,000 a year. So to do that, to me, that doesn't make any sense to me. But if that's what you
Well,
want
the
to
thing
do,
is,
and you say, hey,
well,
I still have this skill, I can go back to doing my old job, then hey, more power to you, right? Can you hear me okay, Chris?
yeah. I was just saying, backing up, like he's saying that his job is soul crushing. Well, it does. I just feel like if you're making 300K, then you can definitely make an eBay store on the side and then switch jobs because you already have the skills. Like if I didn't have all these different things, I would have not have chosen reselling because it could make a lot more money at a regular job. Yes, you might not like your job, but if you're earning a high income, say you're making over 200, you don't have to stay there forever. What's wrong with staying there for 5 to 10 years and making a great living and then never having to work for anybody again? Like there's a like nine I would say like 90% of reselling I don't like either. I like having a store, but like it's not like everything I do here is the best. It's not like I don't want to come across as negative. I just feel like when you um when people say they're quitting their job, it's like you chose to work there, and if you're earning that kind of money, that's $150 an hour. That's very specialized. There's probably other companies you could try. You could switch to a different industry and make 200K, right? Because that's that. Josh probably highly educated, probably very very good at his job. You know, I feel like right now I can find a $200,000 a year job if I wanted to. 350K. Usually, if you're working for somebody, you have to do it. You have to work like a lot in order to earn that kind of income at a job usually. But the thing
Yep.
is, like, if you can do that, you can usually switch like a doctor. Doctors resell all the time, and they kill it. Lawyers resell, nurses resell. You could do it. And just thinking, if you have the skill to make 350K a year, I've seen plenty of people build a six-figure income on eBay on the side because you have capital to invest in infrastructure, employees. It's so scary leaving that. Like, I would never advise that. Even me leaving a six-figure job to do reselling doesn't really make sense. Go ahead with Lone Star Picker.
Lone Star Picker had a question. He says, "What is the aim for the first quarter for you? What is your long-term goals? What you've met, and what are some of your daily aims and goals you have? You're going to work harder, cut out BS. It doesn't work." So he had questions. So like we're in the year 2021. I think he wants to know
Yep.
what some of your goals are this year for 2021 because we just started a new year. I'll be right back. My internet connection is lagging. I'll be right back. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely not gonna work harder because this year I'm having my first baby, so we're gonna be taking care of the baby.
Well,
I'll be spending a lot more time with her. My goals for Q1 is just to average 100 listings a day, so 9,000 new listings this quarter, and get a new photographer. Not too crazy. Let's see. Ado Bo says that being a reseller is hard. He got burned out twice. I mean, everything worth doing is hard. Let's see. Bearded veteran, what's up? Oh, here we go. Clay says he quit teaching because he was beat down and quit with very little eBay income, but it's trying, let's see, for, let's see.
Oh, I'm back. What's up?
Or swim, not sink. Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Let's see. Let me think here on the, yeah, I would say, I don't know if it's worth it though, Clay, to be honest. I hear you. Like being able to do what you want to do and living on your own schedule, but I don't know if it's worth it versus that consistent income and investing. If I could redo it, I probably would have never quit my day job. Also, Victoria, what's up? Nice. Beauty Veteran says list every day. My son and I are celebrating 6,000 items in your store. That's amazing. Great job.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I wanted to say hi to Victoria in the chat. Lone Star Picker says, thanks for being here, and Jeff being here. Hey, we appreciate you guys for coming by. Lone Star Picker says he's super stoked. It said getting that photographer. And Clay's Closet is here. He says, Chris knows I quit teaching $50K a year because I was beat down and quit my very little income. I knew I could not sink or swim as far as eBay and Uber and doing way less stress with worries. Guys, it's really important to have multiple different streams of income. I mean, working a job is great, but you should try to come up with, my goal eventually is I would like to have 10 different sources of income, not just one. And if you watch some of Chris's videos, he doesn't just make income just from, from ad revenue on YouTube or reselling on eBay. He has multiple different streams of income. So if something bad happened or something crazy happens, he's still got revenue coming in to pay the bills instead of just relying on one stream of income. Right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really important to do that. So I wanted to ask you a question, Chris. Talk to me a little bit about your looking for replenishable items. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, go ahead. Replenishable items?
Yeah. So if somebody is looking for replenishable items, because when I talked to you before previously, I thought that when I was looking for replenishable items to sell on eBay, I always thought that I had to get items like order a big bulk lot of stuff from China and try to resell it. Can you talk a little bit about how you can find replenishable items that you can maybe buy and make an order of and then resell them over and over again, as opposed to trying to list 100 items a day? What if you found 10 items that day that were replenishable items that you could resell over and over and over again? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. So my strategy, I think we lost Jeff for a minute, but my strategy is if I'm not the person that's making it, I don't want to do it because there's too much competition. I don't want to order something that people are already selling because it's too risky, because they can just tank the price. So I would rather sell things that only I am allowed to sell. So that's my strategy. It takes longer to do that, but I have replenishables now that I'm the only one that has them. It's my item. So that's the only way that I would approach it. More private label. Selling other people's stuff is just I don't have enough money to play that game. Like I feel like you need a lot of money to be able to sell it at the lowest price, and that's not the game I want to play.
Yeah, but it can definitely be done, guys. Like, for example, I went today at the Dollar Tree and picked these crayons up. These are some Disney frozen crayons. I paid $1 for this at the Dollar Tree, and that's just an example of something you can pick up, where you can buy an item for $1, maybe sell it for $10, $12, $15, and then be able to resell it over and over and over again, right? And then whenever the item sells, I just walk across the street to the Dollar Tree, paid my $1, drop it in a 6x9 padded envelope, throw a shipping label on it, and it's out the door. Chris, I wanted to ask you a question. What recommendations would you have as far as buying stuff in bulk? Because I was watching a video and you had big pallets of merchandise. So can you kind of take us behind the curtain, give us some recommendations or suggestions if someone's like, hey, instead of me getting 2, 3, 4, 5 items at a thrift store or a yard sale or estate sale, I want to get 100, 500 items at a time shipped to my door and cut out a lot of my sourcing time and just spend more time listing and shipping and all that. Can you talk a little bit about maybe buying stuff in bulk? Go ahead, Chris.
Definitely. I mean, just start thinking about where the items come from and then place an order and then slowly grow your order over time. No one's going to let you buy a large quantity without knowing you. So your reputation is really important. So make sure you take your time. And no one wants to hear that. Everybody wants to go from 0 to 60, but there is no, I've never heard of that working. You got to slowly grow because people need to trust you. Suppliers can sell to anyone. So what would be the reason they want to sell to you? I think a lot
Yeah.
of resellers say like, oh, I wish that I could just get a really, really good product for a really low price. I mean, what supplier is going to give you that? They don't need you for that. You got to offer some benefits beyond that. Like you'll take some of the stuff that's selling for them slowly, or maybe you can sell it for more than they can because you have your own website. Maybe they like working with you because your kids go to school together. I mean, these are all things that are real. Like you have to find a reason for them to do business with you. Most
Yep.
resellers just walk into the meeting with their hands out, like, please give me free stuff. They're looking for a handout. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, what Chris said in his video the other day, that when you're buying stuff in bulk, you're buying stuff also that you really don't want. Sometimes you're buying big bulk lots of stuff. Sometimes you're getting stuff that it's not stuff that you want, but they're the stuff that they're trying to offload to you, right? So maybe if I come to you and say, hey, Chris, I want to buy 500 pieces of clothing, are you going to let me walk in there and cherry pick the best 500 pieces of clothing? Or are you just going to say, here you go, boom, I'm selling them to you for $2-3 a piece because you bought 500 of them, as opposed to me walking in there saying, I expect the best merchandise and I'm buying 500 pieces of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just need to find a niche or a market that you're in. Like I sell a lot of media items. So I was looking on eBay the other day and I found this guy. He has 1,000 CDs, right, that he was selling, and they're all brand new in a shrink wrap, and he was asking $400, and that included shipping to my door. So now your buy cost is 40 cents a piece. So if you can turn 40 cents into $10, that's a 25x on your money. So you should be in theory be able to turn $400 into like $10,000 worth of merchandise. But you're buying stuff in bulk, so it's not like I don't get to pick and choose the ones that I want. I'm buying stuff in bulk, and whatever shows up on my door is what I got. So
You can after some time.
Yeah.
I don't have to buy any items I don't want, but it didn't start that way.
But you had to build up a relationship with your supplier, right?
Exactly. It takes time to build up there. Yeah.
Okay, Chris, can you talk a little bit about building up relationships with people, with suppliers, whether you're at a thrift store or you're at a pawn shop or you're at a retail store? How can you go about building up relationships or building up rapport with people so that way you can get merchandise from these people over and over and over again? Do you have some suggestions or recommendations? Go ahead, I'll put you on full screen.
It's exactly like getting a date to prom, Jeff. Like you got to build rapport slowly. There's all these people that go straight to the bedroom. It doesn't work like that. You got to get to know the person. And it just takes a long time. I think that's the part that people really need to hear. Meet somebody that you want, that has what you want, figure out what they want, and then offer that to them slowly over time. But, it has to be mutual.
All right, Chris. So, are you there? You froze up for a second. So, do you have some recommendations? Like if I'm having slow sales, right? Do you have 4 or 5 tips that would help somebody if their sales are slow on eBay and they want to generate more sales? Like, what are some things that they can do to help boost their sales on eBay? Like, you have 4 or 5 tips off the top of your head? Because I get emails and comments from people that say, well, my merchandise just isn't selling. Do you have recommendations that you would suggest?
For slow sales?
Yeah.
I would say go back into your listings, adjust them, make sure that they're priced correctly, the photos are good, the titles are good, the descriptions are good, and keep listing. There really is nothing magical about it. I wish I had some secret sauce for you, but there's not really any that I know of. Or if there is, let me know what it is.
Well, it's listing more items. It's maybe doing promoted listings, maybe running a sell in your store. I mean, there's like 4. I made a video last year. It was like 5 tips to increase slow sales. So I may make like a 2021 edition. But there are little tips and tricks, things you can do. But I mean, I would just advise keep listing more items. So like you said the other day, instead of cross listing on Poshmark and Mercari, you were just like, if I focus more of my energy on just listing more items on eBay, I'm going to generate more sales, right?
That's right.
All right. Can you talk a little bit about how that's been for you, since you were just like, hey, I'm not even going to worry about cross listing. I'm just going to focus more of my energy on getting more items listed. Like, go ahead. I'm just curious, because if someone's goal is to say, hey, like my goal, for example, I'm at 5,400 items. I want to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. How do I go about doing that, Chris? Like, what type of suggestions would you recommend to somebody to help them achieve their goal from getting from point A to point B with their eBay store?
Well, okay. I do have to run in a second, Jeff, but I'm saying that I would say that looking at how many items in your store is not the right way to look at it. You want to look at how much income that you're trying to produce. So for most people, having a big store does not make sense. Absolutely does not make sense, because you don't have the space. It's capital intensive. You want a small, expensive store to make $2 to $5 grand. Most people want that. If you're trying to make more, you have to think about, why do you even want a big store? I think people need to understand the reason that they're doing this. Like, don't just grow your store. And also, that part doesn't matter. It's like, how much money are you actually making?
Yeah, I understand you're saying about making dead listings that items aren't selling, but I'm saying, like, for example, you've been averaging about $1,500 a day in sales every day on eBay consistently, and having 11,000 items in your eBay store helps to affiliate to make that happen. So that's what I was trying to say. If someone's trying to grow their
No, what
store
I'm saying,
in order to get there,
I know people with 20 items that do $50,000 a month on eBay. It's not about that. It's not only the number of items in your store. If you list
right?
100,000 crappy items in your store, you're still going to have 0 sales. So,
Okay.
and also, like, I think people confuse that you have to work. It's not. I think I spend 4 hours in my eBay store a day. I'm not spending
Okay.
15 hours working. There's no way I would do that, because I know people who do that and they have no families.
Okay, I wanted to ask you two more questions, Chris. If somebody is getting started with reselling, let's say I just got my $600 stimulus check in the mail, and I want to take this $600 and invest it and start reselling on eBay. What would you recommend that I go take that $600 and do with it? Like, is there certain products? Is there a certain niche? Like, should they start doing retail arbitrage? Should they try to go to a yard sale or a thrift store? Like, what should they do with their $600 stimulus check to get started in their own resale business?
They should put it in their savings account and just sell all the stuff that they own first.
Okay. Great. Now, what are some of the goals that you have for yourself this year for 2021, Chris?
I want to average 100 sales a day, and I want to spend as much time with my new kid as possible. That's pretty much it. Pretty
Okay.
straightforward.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to my brother.
From my understanding, kids grow up really fast, so hopefully I can be there to watch it. I'm not really looking to expand, actually, at all this year. I'm at 100 already. I'm you know.
Oh, I think I froze up for a second. All right, Chris. I told you I wouldn't keep you longer than 30 minutes. If you have
Okay.
you have any other tips or tricks, you have any other. First of all, tell people where they can find you out on YouTube and Instagram. They can come by and check you out.
Yeah, definitely check me out at dailyrefinement.com. All my stuff is there, and I'm the same moniker on all platforms.
Okay, all right. We have a quick question here. He says, how many employees does Chris have to sell 100 items a day? He just wants to know, how many employees do you have?
2 part-time contractors.
Oh, okay, great. So, Chris, do you have any other final thoughts that would help somebody with their reselling business? And then we'll get you out of here. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to hang out with me.
I would say, don't quit your day job ever. Scale. Think about how much money you want to make before you start, because that's really the main thing. Most people, if you're trying to make 2 to 5 grand a month, you do not need a big store. You only need 200 or 300 good items in your store. You don't need thousands of items. That's actually, having thousands of items is kind of lazy, because you're not really focused on figuring out what it is that you're doing. I don't recommend what I'm doing. It's too random. I want you guys to focus on what you want and then just get it.
All right, Chris. Hey, man. Well, I'm super excited that you're going to be having a baby soon. I wanted to try to get you on the show before you had a kid because I know your sleep and your time was going to be very limited. So I definitely appreciate you coming on to hang out with me today. And hopefully I'll get to see you again soon, man. Maybe sometime later this summer or later on in the year, we'll hook up again and hang out. So I appreciate you taking time
Thanks
to hang
Jeff,
out
for
with me
having me.
today.
I wish I had more time. I'll talk to you later.
It's all right. We'll catch up another time. Thanks for hanging out with me today, Chris. Bye, guys.
Take care, Jeff.